Kay is a nationally recognized business coach and consultant and best-selling author. Yes, I love that. She draws from her own experiences and struggles in life and in business to inspire others to make a difference in their life. She specializes in helping coaches, consultants, and other service professionals to grow their business with the right systems and strategies to put their sales and lead generation on autopilot. Yes, yes, so they can turn their passion into a profitable and successful business. Side note, how many people do you know who love what they do, but they just aren't that effective at getting the word out or building a business around it? Kay is going to solve that problem for us, or help us solve that problem with some right steps and strategies right now and systems. This includes their online marketing, lead generation, customer acquisition, and business management strategies. Kay helps them not only make sense of all the different tools, strategies, and resources that are available, but also helps them choose and implement the right strategies for their business needs. Kay has been featured on CBS, NBC, ABC, and Fox and other media outlets, and she truly believes that everyone not only deserves, but also has the ability to live a fulfilling life full of success and achievements. Kay, are you ready to come on the show?
Oh, I am ready. I gotta say, I mean, I've gotten introduced many times, but your introduction definitely nailed it. That was the best one so far.
Thank you, thank you. Well, you are now live on the air, and Kay, again, it's such a pleasure to be with you and have you here and have your wisdom about how to automate things, how to implement systems. And before we start diving into all of that goodness and the great value and information that you teach your clients these days and what you want to give to our audience today, let's start with a little bit more about your story and where you came from so the audience can get to know you a little bit more and build that connection with you to find out more about you.
Okay, well, first of all, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it, and I hope I can provide some great value today. Now, as far as my story, I would say my story is a little, hopefully, motivating for certain people and inspiring. I'm from Germany. I came to the States in 2006, so I've been here a little over 11 years now. And my ex-husband, he was in the military. He actually left us 2 months after we got here, so, that was a shocker right there. Wow. And it was really, I had a son at that time. I still have a son, but my son, he was 2 at that time. And I really want to do more. I didn't just want to work for someone else for the rest of my life. I'm from Germany. None of the stuff I did in Germany counted here, so I had to start basically from scratch. Didn't know no one, didn't have no family, didn't have anything. So over the years, I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur again. I wanted to have my own business again, but it was a struggle. Knowing what you want to be when you grow up, but actually, turning that into a successful business was easier said than done. So it took me a very, very long time. I failed numerous times. I was in network marketing. That didn't work out very well. That was my thing, just to say that. But then I came across the coaching industry in 2012, started out as a holistic life coach, but I wanted to work with veterans that suffer from PTSD. But then I realized that the business aspect was really more in alignment with my passion and everything, the whole graphic design, all that fun stuff that most people, they really hate. And I really love it. And my coach at that time, she really helped me realize that this is really what I meant to do, really focus on the systems and strategy. So that's basically what I do now, is really focus on those systems and strategy, all the technical stuff. But now it's also my mission is really to inspire people, because I've gone through hell and back and I made it out pretty much okay. And I really want to inspire people with my message, with my story, that, anything is possible. And I listened to you earlier and the whole self-love and everything. And I love it, by the way. It was like all, heartwarming and everything, all fuzzy and stuff. But I really hope that I can inspire people around the globe. My new mantra is, I want to change the world one person at a time.
Yes. Wow. And it sounds like did you have a background in like technology or math or anything like that to give you this affinity to systems and processes?
Definitely not math. Me and math, we're like nemesis. We do not like each other. We do not get along. But when I was working at home, and when I was a stay-at-home mom, I found my passion for computer. So when I got here, when I came to the States, I'm like, yeah, just get a certificate in web design. That will get me a good job. Well, it was a bad awakening that you need to actually have a degree and all that stuff. But then I got my certificate in web design, and then I went to school for an associate's. I have an associate's in IT, then a bachelor in IT management. Then I went for a master's halfway through in entrepreneurship, and then I just switched over to digital marketing. So all of the school stuff that I've been doing was all around all that technical stuff, the computer stuff. I love technology.
Yeah.
And I love the whole graphic design. So I've been doing that for like 10 years now.
Wow.
So that's really where my background comes from. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, cool. So, now that we found a little bit more about you and your story, and you had to make your way from nothing, basically. You said you started with nothing, and your husband, that sounds very challenging. New country. Did you know English before you came here, or did you have to learn that when you came?
Well, I knew a little bit. I mean, we have in Germany we have English in school, so I knew a little bit. And I was working as a security guard at the gate, so I was around military. And from the time I was 18, I was around military. Had a lot of soldiers as friends. Always clubbing, partying, and all that fun stuff. So I was already around Americans, and I already learned it. I mean, my English wasn't perfect, but it was okay. And then when I got here, I was working at a call center, so I had to talk English like all day long. And then I went to school, and that's really what helped me really learn the language. So, but yeah, I knew a little bit already.
Wow. Well, I acknowledge you for getting past those hurdles and experiencing those challenges and not letting it stop you or deter you. And, now you have this big vision. Who knows what you would have been doing if you would have, like for the people who let themselves be stopped, who don't have a compelling vision, who don't have something that inspires them, that pulls them to the future. You're really lucky that not lucky, but persistent. It's not so much luck, but it's the persistence, it's the determination, it's the discipline over time that really wins out. So I love that you're practicing the principles that you teach your clients. So let's dive in a little bit more about the systems, and probably we'll do some mindset around it, like why systems, why are those important, and then we can get into a little bit more practical stuff.
Okay. Well, systems are really very important because when you're in business, I mean, first of all, you don't just do, let's say you're a coach. You don't just do coaching. I mean, you do all these different things, accounting, marketing, sales, all of these different things. And if you don't have those systems in place to make things, more easier, then you're going to be working like 24/7. And who wants to do that? I mean, we became entrepreneurs because we want to have a nicer lifestyle, do more fun things. But if you're behind a computer 24/7, you won't have that. And especially like, for example, let's look at autoresponder. That's one of the systems. You need to have those autoresponders in place in order to automate your messages, because if someone comes on your email list, if you would do everything manually, oh my God, I mean, you would drive yourself crazy.
Yeah.
So systems are really important to also up-level your business. Another system would be lead generation. That is basically a system, because you need to have a consistent flow of new people coming in that you can reach out to. I mean, you don't want to keep chasing after people, because that's also very time-consuming. So you want to have those systems in place to generate more leads, to build that list of raving fans, so you can draw from that to get more clients from that. So that's why like systems are really, really important to have to really up-level your business. And if you think about any of those big gurus like Jeff Walker, Tony Robbins, or any of those gurus, they all have those funnels. They have those systems in place. They have everything in place, even passive income from online courses and those type of things. That's also a system. That's also a strategy to really up-level your business. So overall, you need to have those in place if you want to take your business really to the next level. If you want to keep playing small, then you can do everything on your own. But if you're in business to really make a difference in life or in the world, you just simply need to have those systems in place.
Right. I mentioned earlier on the show, way earlier, probably when we first started, is the African proverb, alone you can go fast, together you can go far. So when you team up with people, or when you team up with the power of a system, then you're really able to exponentialize your results and impact the world, like you said. That's awesome.
Exactly. Yeah, most definitely.
Wow. Beautiful, beautiful. So what do people need to know in terms of like what systems to start with? How do they know what, if they need lead generation, if they need an autoresponder, if they need sales processes, how do people know what to do first?
Well, I mean, the first thing, any entrepreneur that's just starting out definitely should focus on lead generation. I mean, that's like the first thing that I even teach my clients. After having a strong foundation, you need to start working on lead generation. That's creating different lead magnets. And for those that don't really know what a lead magnet is, it's like a free offer. It can be a video course, it can be a PDF, an ebook, a quiz, a survey, anything that is of value to your ideal client. So you put that out there, you create your landing pages, you drive traffic to that, and then you get people on your list. So you also need that autoresponder. You need like a service like GetResponse, Aweber, ConvertKit. I mean, Infusionsoft is one of the high-end ones. So anyone that's starting out, you don't need Infusionsoft. It's great, but you don't need Infusionsoft. I mean, that's like a little overkill if you're just starting out and you have maybe 10 people on your email list. Unless you have the money, then go
right,
for it.
You just want to throw money at it.
Yes. I mean, I've actually met someone before that had no clients, no list, but had Infusionsoft. So I think there's a little bit it's a little too much, but it's great. You can grow into it. But basically, you definitely need to have something like that, because then you can build your list from that. So you have your lead magnet, then you have your autoresponder. You really funnel people through that. You get people on your list, then you build up the relationship with your list, because just because someone is on your list, that doesn't mean anything. You need to build up that relationship. You need to send out those automated emails, newsletters, anything to really build a relationship with someone to make it a warm lead. Because first of all, I mean, you have to convert them into a warm lead by getting them on your list, but then you have to nurture that, because if you just say, hey, by the way, I'm a coach, you need to work with me, and they're like, okay, I'm on your list, but hey, I don't know you like that. You really need to build up the trust and rapport with them, and you can only do that by nurturing your list, sending out those emails, providing value. And another thing I would like to add on the whole emails is don't just focus on pitching. Like I mean, I'm on so many different email lists, and constantly it's a pitch fest. I mean, pitch, offer here, offer there. And I'm like, seriously, I mean, it's a great way for a swipe file, so I can go back and look at what they're writing, so I can, use it for my own. Yes. But other than that, it's like, I mean, provide me with some value. You want me to buy from you, but you're not even giving me any kind of value. So you really want to focus 80% on providing value and 20% on actually making a pitch. I mean, yes, of course, you can maybe do a little soft pitch within the value email saying, hey, by the way, next week I have something coming up, or hey, here's something. But it's not just, 100% pitch or offer. So you really want to do that. That's great for building that reputation with your list, because then they're going to like you. Yeah. If you really focus on that value, they're going to be like, oh my God, he's already given me so much and I don't even work with him. How much more am I actually going to get with him, when I actually do pay him for his services or her for her services? But that's really the first two things that you really want to do fresh out the gate. You want to build your list, autoresponder and lead magnets, really push those out. And there are many different ways that many different types of lead magnets you want to put out. And then from there, the other system is really then, the funnels and those type of things. But I don't know if you want me to go into that quite yet, but I mean, do you have any questions so far?
Yeah, no questions so far. I see Josh just joined. So we have some questions, I guess, for me, because I'm assuming what our audience might be asking is what are some mistakes that people make when it comes to lead generation that they should watch out for? I know you mentioned not going for like this high-end Infusionsoft right off the bat, right? Mm-hmm. Is there any others that you can think of, things that people mess up on or trip over?
Well, it's just really creating a good lead magnet, and that's really knowing who your target market is. If you don't really know, if you're not really crystal clear on who is your ideal client, your avatar, like so many people call it, you won't really be able to create something that's really going to be catching their interest. I mean, because nowadays there's so many lead magnets out there, so many offers out there, and it really has to be compelling enough for people to say, yes, I'm going to put my information in there because, yes, I'm going to be on that person's email list and I know I'm going to get emails from that. So it has to be really something that your ideal client wants and needs. So you really need to know, what are their pain points? What keeps them up at night? What problems do they have that they really want to have solved? And then from there, once you really know that, because you really want to tap into the conversation that's already going on in your ideal client's head. And you can't do that unless you're crystal clear on who is your ideal client. And it's not just, you can't be like, like 2,000 miles, above the surface. I mean, you really have to, land a plane, get extremely clear on who is it that you're working with. Like I even created like an actual story, like an actual person for my avatar to get really crystal clear around that. And a lot of people don't do that. So when you create a lead magnet that is not really tailored to your ideal client, you're not going to get a lot of leads from that, because then you're pushing out the lead magnet and nothing, crickets. You might get a sign up here and there, but then nothing. And then, you're going to be all upset. Oh my God, it's not working. I'm not good enough. Oh my God, I just suck in this. I just give up. And you don't want to do that. So really get clear on who is it that you're working with, what are their pain points, and then really give them what they're looking for. And then make it also a catchy title. And, a lot of the how-to titles, or X steps to Y or whatever, these are very, very popular. And really make it so your target audience, your ideal clients would say, oh my God, I need to have that. So I think that's like the biggest challenge that I see a lot of people do, is really they don't pick a lead magnet that's matching their ideal client, and the title is not good. I mean, it's really all about tweaking your messaging, tweaking your landing page, and all of those different things. It's not just, I mean, I know a lot of people say, you need to do Facebook ad, and then that's how you build your list. But to the Facebook ad is also the landing page and then the actual delivery. So you need to really tweak everything, not just the Facebook ad. You also need to make sure that your landing page converts, and then also that the offer is really good, and whatever you're offering after they sign up for your offer, that also converts. So it's a whole process behind that, and that's where a lot of people really make mistakes here and there. So it's all about really tweaking it.
Okay. And in terms of a system to actually get views to your lead magnet, to your offer, I know that there's Facebook ads, which you mentioned, and you could share a little bit more about that. But is there other sources that you know of that gets people traffic, or gets people organic or paid traffic, or how do people see it? How do more people see your offer and what you have?
Well, Facebook ad, like I mentioned, I mean, that's really great. The only downside with Facebook ad is, I mean, you have to, first of all, make an investment. It's not just like, a few dollars here and there. You do have to make an investment. The great thing about Facebook ad is you can really target your ideal client, really narrow it down to the point where only those people really see it. So it's really great to get the target traffic, but it's cold traffic. So it's going to take some time to really, especially if you're just starting out, if no one really knows you, using Facebook ads is great, but it's cold traffic. You might not get the results that you want. Also, if you're doing it yourself, you might also have some challenges there if you don't really know how to do it effectively, the messaging, the copy and stuff like that. So I highly suggest hire someone that can actually do that for you, or really learn how to do it. Now, other ways to really do it is the organic way. I mean, you can also do pay-per-click, Google pay-per-click ads. It's similar to Facebook ads. But another way is really share it yourself. Make a fuss about it. You can do Facebook Live for that, kind of like what we're doing right now. Share something like that. You can post on the different social media. You can ask people, hey, you have my ideal client on your list. Would you mind sharing that? You can make a win-win situation, collaborate on it. You can write articles and have the lead magnet in there. Even if you write blog posts, you can actually make a blog post around the topic of your lead magnet and include the link to the landing page within the text of the blog post, and then it links to the landing page, and you can get traffic like that too. You can do the same on if you're doing articles, if you're doing guest blogging, same thing. You can even do a video for that. Let's say you're doing a YouTube video and then share the video. So there are really a lot of different ways that you can really push it out in your email signature. That's another great way to really let people know about it. Or let's say you go to a networking event, you meet people, and then you get their card, and you go home, you send them a thank you, nice to have met you email, and hey, by the way, I would like to give you this free offer, this free gift, here's the link to that. Or you can just attach it as just a regular attachment. So there are a lot of great things that you can do with it, organically, where you don't have to invest a lot, especially if you're just starting out. Making an investment in Facebook ads can be a little expensive. So if you don't really have the budget for it, there are a lot of different things that you can do. Yes, it's more time consuming, it's more work on your end, but I mean, the key is you want to build your business. So at the beginning, you have to put in the work to really get the word out, to let people know about it, basically.
So I know this probably varies from person to person, but is there a specific amount or a general amount that people would expect to spend on Facebook ads before they start seeing a return on investment, like 500, 2,000, 5,000? I'm sure it varies depending on the offer and the person and the industry, but is there anything you've seen about that?
I mean, I've seen a lot of different numbers. I mean, some people they invest thousands of dollars. Some people they invest hundreds of dollars. It really depends. I mean, like I mentioned before, I highly suggest working with someone that's actually an expert in it. I'm not. I mean, I'm still learning.
Yeah.
It's one of my classes that I'm learning, but I'm not an expert yet. So I've not invested a lot in Facebook ads, mainly just because I don't want to mess up and I don't want to waste a lot of money.
Right.
But some of the experts I've seen, like Frank Kern, he invests like a lot of money, like I think like 6 figures or whatever in an ad. Some other people, they invest hundreds of dollars, and it's really, but the thing is, don't look at it as like an investment, but because you are going to get something out of it. I mean, like I said, once everything is really working effectively, once your Facebook ad is converting, once your landing page is converting, and then you get clients out of that, then, I mean, why not invest hundreds of dollars in a Facebook ad, because you're going to make thousands of dollars back. But like I said, that's really, work with someone that really knows how to do it effectively, because then you're definitely going to get your ROI rather than doing it yourself. You spend hundreds of dollars and you're sitting there like, no clients, no leads. I messed up. So.
Wow. Okay. And is there a process that your most favorite, like a favorite process for you that you love doing the most, or you love helping your clients implement the most?
Well, it's getting clients. I like to teach them. That's like the first thing that we do is getting them clients, doing a like direct outreach, because that's like, it's something that you can really, you have control over, because if you want to have, let's say, 10 calls each week, then, well, guess what? You have to make the outreaches until you have those 10 calls each week. So that's one of the things, that's the first thing that I do with my clients after making sure that their foundation is in place. But then we work on lead generation. The 3 things that I really teach my clients is the lead magnet, then a webinar, and virtual summits. I mean, virtual summits is really a big thing that can really boost your list. If you're doing it the right way. If you're not, then you only going to get a few people on your list. But virtual summits are really great because you get to provide a lot of value to your ideal clients. You help also the speakers that you're working with, because then they're going to get exposure to, you will be exposed. So even if you're just starting out and you do a summit and let's say you have 20 people on there, guess what? You get exposed to all of their network. And if they have a big list, you can get exposure like all over the world, basically, depending on where your speakers are coming from. But that's really the 3 main strategies that I work with my clients. Of course, if something doesn't really fit right for them, if they don't like the summit, we're not going to work on that. But we look at for other things that they can do to get clients. Other things that you can do is really, build up relationships, build up the collaborative or joint venture partnerships where you can collaborate with someone else, become referral partners, and those type of things. So there are a lot of things that you can really do. But like I said, those 3 strategies are really the main ones that I focus with my clients on.
Wow. Awesome. And what else do we need to know about funnels or about systems to be able to be productive, to be able to maximize our time? Because I'm sure there's people out there who are wanting to grow their business and they feel like they're doing everything right, or maybe they're not. Maybe they feel like they're doing everything wrong and they don't know what to do in terms of their systems. They thought something was going to work and then it stopped working. What other advice do you have for people?
Well, I mean, some of the other systems you can put in place is like just an online scheduler. I mean, I love those things. It's especially with the different time zones. I always mess them up. And especially if you work with someone, across like in a different country, it's very hard trying to figure out, what time really works well. So having like an online scheduler is really, really great. It can really save a lot of time. Another thing is you mentioned funnels. I think a lot of people, they overthink the funnels. They think you need to have these massive funnels in place, and you really don't. I mean, a simple funnel can be just a webinar funnel, having a few emails going out afterwards, and just, the whole point is automating that. So when you have someone come to your webinar, for example, you don't have to manually send out the emails before or afterwards. That is just right there. It's it definitely, you can leverage your time a lot better if you have that in place. Because if you think about, if you have to send out those emails every single time someone signs up, or even afterwards, it just takes a lot of time. So you can definitely automate that. Other things is having like an online course that you can push out is also a great system that you can put in place. And a lot of people overthink that too. It's not that hard to create something like that and just push it out there. The only thing is maybe the launching the program might be a little challenging for a lot of people because they don't really know how to go about that. One course that I just went through is Jeff Walker's. I mean, if you want to launch something, his course is amazing, but it's really figuring out different systems that would make your day a lot easier. And even outsource stuff. You can definitely outsource certain things as well if you don't like writing, if you don't like blog writing. I know a lot of people hate that, and I must admit I've done it too. I outsource that, had someone else write the stuff for me, and they do the stuff for me. So then that takes away time from so I have more time working with clients rather than sitting here trying to figure out what am I going to write about today, than actually writing it, editing and uploading. It does take a lot of time. So, be open to also outsourcing certain things because you're only one person. You can't do everything. And the question is, do you want to spend 80% of your time on the back end stuff, on your business, or do you want to spend 80% in your business doing what you love to do, working with people, having those sessions, and really doing what you love? So it's really, that's why the implementing the systems is so important, and also outsourcing certain things that will take stuff off of your plate, basically.
Yeah.
So I hope that answers your question. I know it went around.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect. I love it. So what has been the biggest system that's helped you grow your business, or that's helped you focus the most on your genius zone, right? Because like you said, there's the 80% of the stuff which is like the, nonsense, and there's like the 20% which is what you really love doing, and you want to outsource that 80% and stay focused on the 20% that produces the most results. So is there a system that has made the difference for you?
Well, for me, the biggest difference was really building my list, doing the lead magnets. That's really been my biggest thing to really help me get clients. And also like the outreaches there. Those two things have really been very beneficial for me. But yeah, just, building that list and building that relationship with my list. Now it's gotten to the point where people actually share the things that I put out there because they see the value in it. So that's really putting stuff out there, and I have plenty of lead magnets. I've went into creation mode, created a bunch of things, but just putting those things out there, stuff that really my ideal client wants and what they need help with has really made a big difference in my business. So I think that's like the biggest thing that I was able to do for my business that made a big difference.
Wow, that's awesome. And in terms of growing your list, have you found that there's a specific formula and frequency to how often you put out certain types of content, and something that works for you? Would you be willing to share that with our audience?
Well, I wouldn't say that I have like an actual schedule yet. It's more like when my creativity hits, that's when I put stuff out. And it doesn't always hit. But when I create lead magnets, it's really maybe every 2 months or so I create something. Like right now, I created something, a workshop that I'm pushing out here for next week. But it's really just all about whenever my creativity hits, I tried the whole schedule that, okay, today I'm going to do this, and next week I'm going to do this. And then my mind like, nah, it's not going to happen. You're not going to do anything today. So I go with the flow. I try to post at least once a week now. I try with the blog post. I try to do it once a week. Sometimes it doesn't happen. It's mainly just because I don't want to force myself to put something out because then it doesn't feel right. So whenever my creativity really hits, then I get into the creation mode and I create a couple of things, and then I just release it whenever I feel fitting. I don't want to push too much out. I mean, now I'm really going into emailing my list weekly, and that's kind of like content as well. And I can use that also for a blog post. So that's what I just did was I sent out a newsletter to my list, and I turned that into a blog post or an article on LinkedIn because it is value, and then I don't have to do 3 different things. I just do one and just repurpose it. So that's another great thing is you want to repurpose the things that you're putting out there. If you're doing a video, you can turn your video into a blog post as well. So it's really being smart about what you're putting out there. And oftentimes, when you get into that whole creativity funk, which I was actually in for a very long time, I couldn't create anything. But then it's really looking back at what I've created so far and then drawing from that and turning that into multiple different outlets. You can create even a lead magnet from a blog post. So there are a lot of different things that you can do with content that you've already created. But like I said, to answer your questions, I really try not to push too much out. I don't want to dilute my list, but I do like to at least maybe every 2 months or so, I put out a new lead magnet just to provide more value.
Wow, that's awesome. And you create these lead magnets from the pain points, from knowing your avatar, from doing the research on your target audience and what they're struggling with. And I know for what I've learned from a lead magnet, it's you want to solve whatever they're dealing with right now, right? You want to solve their most immediate pressing problem versus solving everything for them, right? Like you don't want to build the business for them. You want to say, hey, here's how you figure out what your lead magnet is. Here's how to decide on your headline for your next topic or blog post. Here's how to get 100 more followers on social media or in your list, 100 more subscribers. So it sounds like you are really focused on reiterating or refining whenever you put out something every couple months, like what's the new thing that I can solve, what's the new problem that I could solve, or a different angle that I could solve something else that they've already been stuck with, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, one thing that you can do is you can do a survey. What I've done is I just listen. I go on like LinkedIn, Facebook, and I just see what are people posting about. What are their challenges? I even ask my clients, or I look at, okay, what are my clients struggling with? I look at what did I used to struggle with, early on, and still what am I struggling with right now? And then I draw from that. So I really created a list of all kind of topics. I think I'm at like about 200 topics right now. Wow. And then whenever I write a blog or anything like that, I go to a list and then I go from my intuition. I look at, okay, what feels right? And then I create the content about that. But it's basically all the topics that I've had is really, I looked at other people's podcasts. What are they putting out there? What are, like I said, what are people struggling with the most? What I do is I do a lot of those meet and greet conversations where I like to direct outreach. And then every time I talk to someone, I ask them, so what do you find most challenging in your business? That's content for me, because they tell me, that's my ideal client. They tell me right there and then what are they struggling with. So they might not be interested in working with me at that point, but guess what? I can still use that conversation to get content, to create content around that, because they're telling me what are their struggles, what is that they have a hard time with. And then I put it on my list and I create content around that. But yeah, like I said, I really went by, I look all over the place. I put all the contents on the headlines on my list, and I just go back and draw from whatever feels good at that moment, whatever I feel that would make a big impact on my people. Mm-hmm. I create the content from that.
Wow. That's awesome. And it sounds like you've systemized your content generation, because you got the pain points, you put it in an Excel list, and then you say, hey, which one feels right? That's more of an intuition kind of thing. But then you create the post, and then it could be a video that you create from it, could be a text, could be something else, right? Or an entire lead magnet that you create from that topic. That's awesome.
Yeah, most definitely. You can do all different things with it. You can create a video, you can do a blog post, and you can do a lead magnet all together. So it doesn't just have to be either or. You can do all of it. So that's the beauty about the content, is you can repurpose it in many different ways. Because if you post a blog post right today, and then 2 months down the road, you can turn it into maybe a lead magnet. People are not going to know what you have on your blog unless they really stalk you.
Right.
But then you can maybe tweak it and maybe add a little bit more to it, refine it, put more into it. But yeah, you can definitely do that, really repurpose the content you already have.
Wow. Okay. And then in terms of building more systems into people's businesses, say they already have lead generation and they are looking to scale. They're looking to scale up. They're looking to level up their business. What would be next? What kind of things would they be looking at next? Would they want to be exploring or thinking about or planning for the future so that they could be successful and they could be, grow faster?
Well, the next thing would be really having multiple streams of income. I mean, you can build that value ladder. And I'm pretty sure if you've heard that before. But it's like having those different offerings, and then also creating those online courses, because that will give you passive income. And I mean, if you do an effective launch, I mean, you can make 6 figures with an effective launch with a good online program, and then you can have multiple programs. I mean, people nowadays, especially like now in the coaching industry, not everyone can afford to work with us one-on-one. So why not create an online course to also give those people who don't really have the funds or the resource to work with us one-on-one, but they can still learn from us. So you still get to help a lot of people. And also you get to help a lot more people, because how many people can you as one person work with? Even if you do a group coaching or workshops, you still can only work with so many people. But if you're putting an online course together, then you can reach a lot more people. So let's say you can reach 5,000 people with just that one online course, where otherwise you wouldn't be able to reach those because maybe they can't afford you, or your time, you are limited on time. You can't work with 5,000 people. So that's really the next thing, is really having those courses in place, so you have that multiple streams of income, so you have that passive income. So let's say you want to take a month off, you don't have to worry about, oh my God, where's the money going to come from? So you still have those online courses out there that's still going to bring you money coming in each and every month, all on autopilot, all passive. You create it once, and it can really make a difference in someone else's life. So that's really the next thing to really up level, because like I said, as a coach, you can only work with so many people. And then online course is really the next step up, where you can work with a lot more people, and you have the multiple streams, and most of all, the passive streams of income.
Wow. Oh, that's awesome. And I love the one-to-many model, because the one-to-one it's like I love how you said you're impacting the world, right? Changing the world one person at a time. And that's, I think a lot of people maybe dive in, they're like, I want to change the world. And then they like totally get past they're totally like thinking too big in terms of they don't even develop the one-to-one and impacting people at the small level so that they can scale up. And I think it's really powerful to focus on one-to-one, develop those systems and processes, whether it's a webinar that gets people into your one-on-one coaching or whatever it might be. It's important to develop that, and then develop the group coaching. And, some people might want to do it the other way around. They might want to do group coaching and then do one-on-one later. Who knows? So that's awesome. And I feel as people expand, they'll find what their message is even more. They'll find out what is it that I really want to give to this world? Like, why am I here? Why am I passionate about this? So I know for me personally, it's just been to go, just start, just create something, see if it sticks. And I know with Jeff Walker, his product launch, he says, get the feedback from people, survey your audience, put something out there. It may not be this 6-figure launch when you first start, but if you launch and you learn, then you can launch again. Right? There's nothing
exactly.
Says you only launch once. You can launch as many times as you desire and have the bandwidth to do. So that's really important.
Yeah, and I mean, if you think about all these big gurus like Michelson, Christian Michelson, Lisa Sasevich, they launch their program like twice a year. Yeah. So, usually within like 6 months, every 6 months they launch their program. So you want to continuously doing it. Even Jeff Walker, he does the same thing. He keeps launching his program because that's how he can impact people. Then they do the live events. So that's how they fill their live events. So yes, and every time you launch something, you learn more. You refine your messaging, you refine the content that you're putting out, and then you just refine, you tweak. I mean, I think everything in business, it's always about tweaking. It's always about, refining it, making it better. It's never about making it perfect and putting it out. And a lot of people, I think they get stuck in the whole perfectionism. They want to make it perfect before they even release it. And then it's got, 2 years later and they still haven't released it because they don't think it's perfect. You're never going to get it perfect because for one, not everyone is going to like what you're putting out, or they might not like certain aspects about it. So you can't please every single person. So just get it out there and then get the feedback. Like you said, get the feedback. And then from there, you can change around, you can tweak it, you can make it better based on the feedback you got, and then relaunch it. And then you can also raise your prices on that as well because you made it better. You improved it. But it's always about tweaking. Everything is about tweaking. Every webinar you're doing, it's tweaking. I remember my very first webinar. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't even want to talk about that. But it's like, it's all about tweaking, because at the first time I did it, I had no clue what I was doing. I mean, I watched other people how they did it, and I modeled them, and well, you can't really have it perfect like right the first time, just saying.
Right.
But it's like everything you're doing, it's never perfect. I mean, remember, like, I'm pretty sure the first 12-hour marathon you did, it wasn't the way it is right now, right?
Oh my gosh, it was perfect, exactly how it was back then, and we've definitely grown a lot since then.
Exactly. And you got feedback, you improve stuff, right?
Yep.
And it's the same with everything you're doing. It's the same with your coaching, the same with the consulting, anything that you're doing. You never just start and you're perfect right at the first, out the gate. You always improve. You might even shift your stuff around. I mean, I started as a holistic life coach. Now I'm a business coach, and I know I'm on the right track, but I still think that there's something that's going to change about what I do. And it's always about refining, changing and finding, what you're passionate about, tweaking your messaging, tweaking, who you're working with, how you're working with the people. And it's always about tweaking and refining. So don't ever just stop. Just, always look for, how can I make things better? How can I impact people on different levels? And what can I do to change the world even more?
Yes, yes. And I have two things I wanted to say. That one, done is better than perfect, right? Just get it out the door. Get it out the door. You can always refine it. And people will not remember your failures. People don't remember that. People remember your successes, right? People remember Edison's successes, but they don't remember like what were the specific times, the 10,000 times or the 9,099 times where he failed making a light bulb before that. There's the story of 10,000 times, which makes it a great story, but people don't care about that, right? And when we're launching these courses, even if it's like a total dud, it's perfect because you learned what worked and you learned what didn't work, and you got to innovate and you got to refine. And the second thing I want to say is, there is always a version 1 to anything, right? There's always a version 1. And if you want to make it better, great. Make it better. Innovate, refine, improve it. But if you want to shift to something else, there will still be another version 1, right? There's a version 1 of a football player when he first steps on the field, no matter how old he is, how young he is, right? He stepped on the field and he was a version 1. Maybe he'd thrown a football before, maybe not. Piano player, same thing. A house painter, a construction worker, whatever it might be, a coach. And there's always a version 1. And we have John Archer, who said, "Wish I had known this was around earlier." So John, definitely good thing you're tuning in, because Kay is dropping some incredible value here, and make sure that you do follow up with her. And Kay, I recommend you follow up with John after this, see if there's any way you guys can support each other. And then Joe Nicasio, who's going to be on later today, said perfection is the enemy of good enough. And that's so true. People are always waiting for things to be perfect, to line up their ducks all in a row. And I know I'm challenged with that. Kay, I'm sure you've had challenges with that, wanting things to be perfect and waiting probably too long, And then
see, actually, what I like to do is I don't like to redo stuff. I just get it done, get it out. I don't even reread certain things. And I'm not the kind of person that sits there and reads like an email 5,000 times before I even hit send. I write it. I'm like, I go over it real quick. I'm like, okay, hit send.
Yep.
Because I mean, that's me. I want people to like me for who I am. I don't want to be another person or pretend to be someone else. I train basically what we do is when we put stuff out, we train people to like us for who we are. If we put something out that doesn't resonate with them, then that's not the person we want to work with anyways. Exactly. I remember the other day I got a message from one of the people, like in my emails, I say, "Hey, superstar. Hey there, superstar." I think that it's just like the energy is a lot better than say, "Hi, Chris."
Right.
Right. And then I got a message back saying she didn't really like that. I'm like, well, that is me. That is who I am now. I changed my messaging around. So I like, "Hey there, superstar." I think this is like powerful,
I love it. Yes.
And those who don't like it, you know what? There is an unsubscribe button below my email.
Bye.
Unsubscribe.
Yes.
I want people to like me for who I am. I want to like me that I talk fast. That's me. That's the German thing in me. But I want people to like me for who I am. Those people that don't like my messaging, don't like who I am, what I do, what I say, or that I'm very direct and not like all fluffy, then don't follow me.
Right.
And I think that's when you focus so much on making it perfect, you're trying to make it perfect so other people it will match whatever they like. Be who you are. Put it out there. Don't try to perfect it. Be who you are. If you feel that this sounds good to you, then put it out there.
Yes.
I mean, of course, it should, still be good enough and not too many mistakes or whatever.
Right.
But still, this is you. This is your message. This is your context. Just put it out there because people will like you more for that. And if you do make mistakes, that makes you even more, that makes you human.
Yes.
And people like to resonate with human. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's totally it. Okay. Totally it. So Joe said, "My ducks are not in a row. My ducks are wandering aimlessly." I don't know why Joe said that, but Joe said that.
Let's catch some ducks.
Joe, it sounds like you need to get some systems in your life. That's funny. Okay, so Kay, let's begin wrapping it up and let's really leave with these people, whoever's watching right now. And if you're watching, you're getting value out of this, make sure you do follow Kay. She's going to share how you can stay tuned with her and subscribe with her stuff, stay up to date. But Kay, what do people need to walk away with in terms of, if there's any practical last minute advice, things that they should implement, systems that they just must put in place like today, if they want to succeed as an entrepreneur, as a coach, as a business owner, as a person, what would those be?
Well, definitely list building. Get your autoresponder in place. There are very cheap ones out there. GetResponse. I use GetResponse. It's $15 a month. It's not that much. Mm-hmm. Very easy to use. Very simple to. It's kind of like plug and play or drag and drop. And really create a lead magnet. Do something that really solves a problem for your ideal client. Get crystal clear. I always mess it up. Get crystal clear around who your ideal client is. What are their pain points? Really, get into their mind. You need to get into the conversation they already have in their head and then deliver value around that. Really think about what keeps them up at night. What's really stressing them out? What do they want answers to? What questions do they want answered? And then create something around that. But really, list building is the first thing that I highly suggest to do for anyone to do, because when you have that list of raving fans, you can get a lot more clients from that, and they can share your stuff. So you get a lot more exposure. So if you're putting something out there that they really, really like, that is of value, they have no problem sharing it. And don't be afraid to ask, hey, share my stuff. If they find value, just like you said, hit like, share it, whatever. Don't be afraid to ask for that. But that's really the first thing that I would suggest. Anyone that doesn't have an autoresponder in place, that doesn't do lead generation, do that. Even put something on your website. That's another thing I forgot to mention earlier. When you have a website, you want to have something on that captures the leads, which is offering a free report, anything free, a lead magnet. Because just saying sign up for my newsletter, no one is going to do that. No one just wants to be on an email list and get newsletters. You really want to provide something of value and capture the leads, because when they come to your website and you have no way of capturing their information, they're not going to come back. So you're losing out on a potential client. So that's another thing around lead generation. So I hope that was beneficial to people.
Yeah, and I also wanted to add to that, because when people land on your website, you want to make them feel a certain way, right? You want to make them feel like you have the answers, like you understand their problems, like you said, understanding their fears, the frustrations, the pains, what keeps them up at night, and then also get them to believe in your story. Because I know for me, something I was challenged with was like trying to just give all the facts and trying to look really good. But if you use your story around like your marketing and where you came from, that'll really draw people in. Have you found that's true, Kay?
Yes, I actually have my story on my website. So whatever I shared earlier, that's just like a little tip on the iceberg. I actually share my entire story, my pits, where I was depressed, laying on the floor, everything. Because I think that makes people relate to you, because everyone is going through challenging time. No expert, no successful entrepreneur just woke up successful. They've gone through a lot of crap. Sorry my language, but they've gone through a lot of challenging times, and they need to share that. So I've gotten interviews because of my story. I've gotten clients because I shared my story. I've gotten people that reached out to me because I shared my story. So I have no problem sharing my story, because I want to inspire people with my story. So yes, I have it on my website, and I've got some great compliments, and I've gotten clients out of that as well. So yeah, definitely share your story, not just your success. touch a little on your success, but focus on really the pain points that you've gone through, because then people say, oh my God, she goes through exactly what I'm going through right now. So I need to really talk to her because she knows what I'm going through.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And Luis says, hey, and we got some people who are enjoying this. So, Kay, how can people stay connected with you? How can they take the next step? And then share a little bit about where people can see you in the next coming months and years. I know you said you're still defining that and looking for what is the next evolution of you, but how can people stay connected with you?
Well, on Facebook, Kay Sanders, they can just look me up, or LinkedIn. I'm also very active on LinkedIn, Facebook and LinkedIn. My website is kaysanders.com, and I think you have it somewhere on the screen as well. So kaysanders.com. If they would like to experience working with me, or if they would like to connect with me, I do offer complimentary session, which they can actually schedule right through my website. That's another system, just pointing that out. Everything is automated. I love it. So they can just go on my website, go on work with me, and in consultation, answer a quick questionnaire, put yourself on my calendar, boom, you're on my schedule. We can have a session. So I like to have those kind of systems in place. But yeah, another thing, I do offer a workshop starting next week. It's a virtual workshop. Do you mind if I share that?
Please.
Okay. It's called the Client Getting Workshop. So I'm really going to teach a couple strategies on how to get more clients, how to, I also talk more about lead generation, lead magnets, and those type of things. It starts on the 16th. It's going to be virtual via email. I send out the videos like that. If anyone is interested in that, they can go to clientgettingbootcamp.com, sign up for that. And so that's the next thing that I'm going to be doing. Other than that, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be doing. I know I'm going to be creating an online course here very soon as well. So I'm super excited about that. And I'll let you know about that later on when I have more information. That's basically how can...
That was clientgettingbootcamp.com, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I put that in the comments, so everybody go to that website, clientgettingbootcamp.com, sign up for that workshop, and then Kay, send her an email, connect with her on Facebook and LinkedIn, go to her website, look at all her systems that she's already implemented, and then trust that you can have those same things and same ease and flow and results and financial abundance for yourself. It is available right now, and all you have to do is take the next step and have a conversation. It really makes the difference when you take that step, when you have conversations with people who have these answers. And Kay, thank you so much for being on. You are absolutely this overflowing abundance of information. I could tell you really know your stuff. Every angle, I felt like we covered every crevice of this, and we got a really broad overview. But because you know about each subject in each area, I know that you also have like systems in place to develop those as well. So that's really exciting, and I'm excited to see you grow and see all your success and see you impact the world, because I hear your commitment. I'm up to the same thing. Let's do it together and keep kicking butt.
Yeah, I definitely like what you're doing here. So yeah, keep going.
Awesome.
And thanks again for having me. It was really a pleasure.
You're welcome, Kay. Thanks for being on, and we'll see you soon.
All right, see you soon.
All right, see ya.
Bye.